Goodbye, hold up, we just saying hi. Find somebody, rise up, weekdays, catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday. Oh, my dear God. Thank you, baby. Jesus, it's Friday. Yes, it is Friday. I am so excited about this day. Not only is it because it's Friday, but also because it's Friday. Yeah, it's been a long week, y'all. It's been a long week, and I'm excited to talk about some other things other than the things that we have been talking about, which we are going to be covering because we have to, all right? Because that's just the right thing to do. And there's some things that I didn't get to do yesterday and cover yesterday. So I will be covering those stories today. And then, you know, I do have a pop-up that I'm going to tease to you guys a little bit later on in the show today, which I'm very excited about. Well, not really excited about. It's just a piece that just, like I said, it's also a what the F kind of situation. And I'll explain in a little bit. But hopefully you guys are all doing well. If you're enjoying this show, you're happy that we are going to be on today, please don't forget to hit that like button down below. And of course, if you're a first-time watcher of this show, welcome to the Pascal Show. Don't forget to hit that like button or hit that subscribe button as well. Crush that subscribe button, all right? It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. But anyway, we got some things we got to talk about. But before we get started, I got my brother David in the house. What's good, my brother?
Hey man, everything's good out here. It's, hi to everyone in chat. Not much really going on out here, but it just dropped to freezing today. So winter's here. We skipped fall, I guess, but winter's here now.
Wait a second. Is that normal?
Not really this early, no.
I was about to say, ain't it? Like it's we're in the middle of the month.
Yeah, usually get the big snow in middle of November, but it's already been coming in all month. Denver's got some too, so it's not just the mountains that have it right now. It is colder than usual here, all through Colorado, really.
Interesting. That makes no sense, but okay. Makes I remember you telling me that there was a snowstorm that went through and all that, and I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? It's fall, baby.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten immersed into fall yet, and you're already talking about snow, being snowed in and stuff.
Yeah. The trees just started changing colors for fall, and it's already snowing. I mean, they got like a foot of snow on the mesa yesterday, I think. There's a tiny bit here, but it mostly melted in the morning. They actually had the main Vail Pass to the east was closed for a little bit because of snow, I think 2 days ago, probably. So they got hit in the mountains pretty hard. I'm in the valley, so most of it turned to rain when it hit the ground because it's a kind of desert area here. It's warmer than the surrounding areas, but it's still only 30 here today.
That's just so strange to me, period. It's just strange. Like for me, I lived in New York for a long time. And in New York, it was literally like it was the summer and winter, and that was it. Like you just get two extremely harsh seasons, and that's it. But Colorado, I would expect all 4 seasons, nice transitions, nice smooth transitions. So that's very weird. Yeah. I've been hearing people say that this is going to be a very, very cold winter. Not like winter's coming. No, like cold ass temperatures and all of that. I don't know if that's entirely true. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
Last few winters have been very mild, in my personal opinion. Okay, I remember there were times when it was just literally like just crazy amounts of snow and it's blisteringly cold outside and stuff like that. People's cars that were outside, the gasoline, because it was so cold, the gasoline would freeze in the tank. That kind of stuff. I remember those kind of winters. Real talk. I remember those kind of winters. But I haven't seen anything like that in a long time.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You're gonna say?
A lot of the places here, especially the Mesa, which I live The valley I live in is part of the mesa, and the mesa always gets like a few feet of snow by November. So I think they have some now, and then they're going to get a lot more this year. But we might start getting snow in the valley over the next few days. Normally, I go up to the mesa to see the aspens turn to like a gold because all their leaves just change gold. But that just started happening yesterday when it hit 30 degrees. So the season's all messed up.
Yeah, we're not going to go into global warming. We're not going to talk about the environment. We're not going to talk about any of that today. But like I said, still doesn't make any sense. Very, very interesting to me, no doubt. But of course, we got to jump into the stories. Here's the other thing. My brother, Richard Pryor Jr. may or may not be on today. I was really, really hoping that he would, but hopefully he does. He's having a situation right now that just happened just literally right before we started. That's kind of why we started so late, because I was kind of waiting for him to be on so that we could chop it up. But so far, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Hopefully, if he does, he might just pop in the middle of the show randomly. And if that happens, of course, we'll have to switch gears quickly, have him hop on and chop it up with him. But hopefully he'll be on in a little while. Fingers crossed, okay? Because yeah, I was really me too, Debbie. I was really looking forward to having him on as well. Nonetheless, the show must go on, right? And hopefully we will reschedule if he does not come on from this point on. Hopefully we will reschedule and have him on later on, probably at the top of next week or something like that, okay? Because what he has going on is important, and I wanted to shed light on some things that are going on in his neck of the woods. So hopefully he'll be on in the near future, okay? Hopefully he'll be on today, or if it's not today, it'll most likely be Monday. He'll be on soon enough. I promise you that, okay? But with that being said, we got to go into some of the stories. Obviously, we got to go straight to the top of our story, one of our main stories. And of course, we got a smattering of different things that we're talking about today, guys. So I know some of y'all are like, why y'all talking about, Gabby Petito? I'm so tired of. Don't worry, we got other things that we're talking about. I don't know why everybody sounds like that in my mind, but you guys don't sound like that. I'm just an ass. But we have to cover this because yesterday I did not cover it. All right. And I think it's very important that we take a look at these things, especially when it has to do with the coroner. There was an interview with the coroner. Shout out to Brian Enton. He had an interview with the coroner yesterday. And like I said, I feel like this is something that we need to look at. I wasn't able to do a show yesterday. So yesterday morning, and then I did a random impromptu off schedule pop-up live about Jelani Day and the timeline and everything of that sort, which was, something that makes you step back and scratch your head like, what the hell is going on here? So if you haven't seen that live, please go and check it out because it's definitely informative. I go deep into the situation. I took some phone calls, heard everybody's opinions, and it was a really, really great pop-up live. But like I said, we've been going off the beaten path of this Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito thing. But this piece is something that I feel like we all should be looking at, especially if you've been watching the saga or following the stories as of late. Because in this interview, the coroner, Dr. Brent Blue, has a lot more to say. And there's a lot that he says in here. So Brian Enton in his post says, our full report tonight, coroner Dr. Brent Blue's interview, he told me there are indications that Gabby was in a domestic relationship which could play a part in this case. So here's the interview. I wanted us all to check this out because, like I said, we ain't done with this story yet. Because Brian Laundrie allegedly is still out there. Now, the other thing is apparently there have been cadaver dogs running around in the Carlton Reserve because apparently they found body parts or body this is very interesting. We're going to look at these things. Let's get rolling.
Dr. Blue, you said yesterday that the cause of death was manual strangulation, throttling. Can you explain what that means, especially the throttling part?
Throttling generally means that it was done with human hands as opposed to an instrument. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but manual strangulation basically means that it was not done with equipment.
How do you determine that?
Well, it's determined by the nature of the injuries around the neck.
Dr. Blue says he's not allowed to get into Gabby's specific injuries because of the ongoing FBI investigation. He says her body was discovered nearly a month after she was killed.
What sort of challenges are involved in an autopsy when a body, as you described yesterday, has been out in the wild for 3 to 4 weeks?
In a situation where any body is out in the outside, whether it's exposed to the elements and insects and animals, there is various forms of decomposition.
At yesterday's news conference, the coroner brought up domestic violence and today clarified his comments this way.
There were indications that Gabby was in a relationship, a domestic relationship, which could play a part in this case, but I don't have any direct evidence of that.
So a lot of things that the coroner said he just cannot talk about at this stage of the investigation. He did, though, confirm that both DNA and toxicology tests were done. He would not elaborate, though. Marnie?
Brian, one question I had, did Dr. Blue say whether or not the FBI knew and was supportive of him releasing the information on the autopsy when he did?
Well, that's a good question, because you'll remember in that actual signed autopsy report, it was dated October 5th, which means all of this was sorted out more than a week ago. I asked him about that. He said he was holding off on going public because the U.S. attorney asked that he please not release it publicly until yesterday. What that means about what was going on behind the scenes, we're not exactly sure.
Also, Brian, we have learned Gabby's family, they're headed to Wyoming right now.
Yes, Gabby's family on the way to Wyoming right now to pick up her remains. Obviously, hard to imagine what they're going through with the release of the cause of death, but we know that Gabby will be cremated.
And the laundry's in the home behind you. We just saw that light on the garage just flip on. Brian Enton, thank you. A lot of questions tonight about if this is a turning point in the case, and is this manhunt going to continue on for weeks or months for Brian Laundrie, former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer, and Florida State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg joining us once again live tonight. Thank you to you both. Dave, I want to start with you. After that press conference from the coroner, you tweeted that you believe that murder charges are imminent. Why?
Yeah, good evening, Marnie and Jennifer. I think they're most likely imminent because we originally knew the manner of death, homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And that's something prosecutors are waiting to find out. Now we know it's manual strangulation, which makes it more likely that I think that Brian Laundrie will be charged with Gabby's death, because manual strangulation is a crime that is very personal, very intense, and it's something that often happens in domestic cases. And look, the coroner seems to indicate that he thought this was a domestic case, unless that was a mistake that he said that this is one of many domestic incidents. And so why would he say that if he had evidence that someone else was involved, that there was DNA of someone else on Gabby's body? Would the coroner have said that this looks like a domestic incident like all the others, unless he misspoke? So I think what you saw yesterday really moves the ball forward to charging Brian Laundrie, not to mention the timeline. I mean, when they said that the death occurred 3 to 4 weeks ago, that matches the timeline of the last time Gabby was talked to, was known to be alive.
Yep. The coroner did clarify that he wasn't speaking directly about Gabby's case with the domestic violence, but it did catch a lot of people's attention yesterday, Dave, as you said. Jennifer, do you agree that charges are coming based on the autopsy?
I think charges are coming. I'm not sure how imminent they are, but I would expect them sooner rather than later, definitely. This autopsy is crucial for making that type of a charge.
One other thing, Jennifer, you have told me as recently as last night, you believe Brian Laundrie does have allies, that he's getting help. What leads you to believe that?
I believe that because of the amount of time that has gone on and passed, and he has still remained undetected. And the attorney has repeatedly said he is representing the family and he's representing Brian Laundrie. You would not represent somebody who wasn't alive.
Dave, so let's talk about the legalities of that. If somebody is in fact helping Brian Laundrie to hide, they've been helping him along the way, what are the possible legal ramifications that they or that person could face?
They can be charged with accessory after the fact, which is a serious felony, especially in a murder case. That would mean that someone would have to know that Brian committed a crime, and they would have to do something to prevent his arrest or punishment. So, for example, if someone destroyed evidence, if someone knew Brian had committed a crime and helped him leave and get out of town, that person could be arrested for being an accessory after the fact. But it is not a crime to remain silent or to lawyer up.
For you both, do you think that Brian Laundrie's attorney knows where he is tonight? Jennifer, let's start with you.
I think Brian Laundrie's attorney does, generally speaking, know where he is at, and I think he's in communication with him.
Dave?
I defer to Jennifer. She has the experience as an investigator, so she would know. But I have to say this, there is no affirmative obligation for Brian's lawyer to come forward and tell investigators where he is if he knew where he is, because he has the same right to remain silent against self-incrimination as everyone else. There's no affirmative obligation on anyone to have to say what they know. But if they lie to investigators, that would be a crime.
I would love to get a lawyer on this show to talk about this, because I've asked it several times, and I know that there are interviews out there with other lawyers talking about it, but I kind of want to hear it from someone or from a source. The question that I have that's still lingering in my mind, because I can't lay down and rest easy thinking that, okay, when it comes to this whole case with Brian Laundrie out here in these wilderness streets, okay, he's out here in these wilderness streets. Why they haven't gotten brought the lawyer in? Because if he knows a little bit, does that still lie within the attorney-client privilege sector, or does it not? Because this is going to be most likely a convicted murderer. Right now, allegedly, he has just broken the law, like on the fiduciary side of things, on a financial side, right? But outside of that, there's a woman that was killed, that was strangled with someone's bare hands. Most likely, it was Brian Laundrie. So you have eventually somebody who's going to be somebody who's going to be wanted for murder out here in these wilderness streets, running amok, kicking rocks, finding freedom. And there's a good possibility that this lawyer could know everything right now. Everything. His whereabouts, or at least where he's been, so on and so forth. Why haven't they thrown charges on even the lawyer? Because in my mind, I don't think that would be in the confines of the attorney-client privilege. I feel like that's outside of it. When you have somebody who is out here who has allegedly killed somebody and could put harm on other people, he's still hiding behind the law, even the lawyer? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like I said, I need a lawyer, y'all. You know how many lawyers I've called? Shoot, I've called so many, and they're busy doing other things, understandably. But like I said, I've been needing a lawyer. I want to talk to one that knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm Kevin. It's wilderness streets, just so you know. Streets, not streets, streets, just so you know. Okay? Right. I mean, David, I was going to say Brian. David, see, I've been saying this damn name so damn much. Please tell me something, man, because talk to me, man, because this is the part that doesn't make any sense. And I've been asking this for like days.
So this is from a law site, but basically they're saying that the client's privilege does extend to any quick communications. The they got 3 bullet points that are the kind of legal standard. It says that client privilege extends to these 3 cases. An actual or potential client communicates with the lawyer regarding legal advice. The lawyer is acting in a professional capacity, and the client intended the communications to be private and acted accordingly. So if they are, based on this, if they argue that Brian intended to keep these communications private, which probably does, he doesn't want the FBI to know about it, I guess the lawyer would not be compelled to point that out. So it also says, I was looking through it fairly quickly, but it says that defense lawyers are not supposed to, under any circumstances, incriminate their client unless their client tells them to, basically. And so from what I'm reading, if Brian called him and contacted him, as long as that communication was about legal advice, like running away from the police, or if he wanted to be private, again, he doesn't want the police to know, then it does look like, according to the law side, it falls under attorney-client privilege.
But that does, okay. Thank you, Brain. But I'll say this, it doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like there's got to be a loophole. There's got to be. You can't tell me that a lawyer is going to sit there and know exactly where let's just say they threw a case on him for murder, right? For homicide. You cannot tell me that they're going to sit there and lawyer can just sit there and go, I can't tell you anything, attorney-client privilege. Sorry, hiding behind the law. I just feel like there's got to be a loophole that they could jump through and go, no, bro, I got you right here. So you have to tell us where he is.
I think the only case would be if the lawyer had information that he would be, or he intends and has the means to commit harm against himself or somebody else.
But isn't that already what's going on?
Well, I mean,
isn't that the possibility right now? I mean, let's be real. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but isn't that the possibility right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the possibility, but all Brian has to do is say that he wants this communication to be private, and that's seemingly all that needs to be said. Or if he's like any sort of legal advice, including evading the police. Though obviously the lawyer would suggest he comes in, but that information, based on what I've read, is private. And this is based on. Let me bring it back up. It's here we go. So it's based on. I mean, this is information from an attorney as well. It comes out of the what is this place called? NOLO. I forget what that stands for though.
What the what? The NOLO.
NOLO. Basically NOLO.
Once again, what?
It's all right. So yeah, basically it is just a site. The site is called NOLO, but it is a site that covers most of the law things. It's been dependable in the past, and they're the ones that are discussing it. Like you said, we need an actual lawyer in here to talk about it in detail, but I also checked the constitutional law site, and it seems at least these 2 major law sites agree that he does not have to say anything as long as Brian doesn't want him to, basically, is what it comes down to.
Interesting. D-Mesh said on Twitch, thank you so much for the comment, said, I think it's the innocent until proven guilty thing. The lawyer doesn't know exactly where he is and can't help him break the law. I mean, and I can see that part too. All right. But this is still somebody who could potentially hurt somebody. This is still somebody that could potentially hurt other people. Now they're trying right now. They're trying to connect the Kylan Schulte, Crystal Turner murders with the Gabby Petito situation as well. To me, I don't see a connection. After hearing what has happened, the cause of death for Gabby Petito, I just don't think, personally, I just don't think that Brian went on a killing spree. I just don't. I really, really don't. Sure, he's reading these books about, serial killers and all that stuff, or Chuck Palahniuk. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, but the author who wrote, for example, Fight Club and Lullaby. I know that, yeah, sure, those are books. But just because you pick up a book you're reading about murders or a murderer does not automatically mean that you're suddenly saying, oh, this guy wants to go on a killing spree. Now, I think this is a crime of passion. I think this is what happened. I think, as Debbie just said, he snapped. I think he straight up just snapped like a mother lover and nothing more than that. I don't think he went and killed other people in the midst of all this stuff. Now, of course, there are people who are sitting there saying, oh, this could have been a natural born killers type of thing where they just wanted to go and just kill a whole bunch of people. They just wanted to see red. I don't see it. She does not seem like the type. She does not give off the vibe. Gabby, I mean, it just, I don't know. Like I said, the whole thing it's not mathing right. Like I said, I need to turn that into a t-shirt. The math ain't mathing, okay? The math just ain't mathing. Now, there is something else here. Because I've said this before, and I will do it. I will. I promise you. It's just been really, really crazy lately. I will be doing a timeline breakdown for the Kylan Schulte, Crystal Turner murders and the Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito situation, because the murder of Gabby Petito did not happen until weeks later, right? Their murders happened around the 13th, 14th of August. Gabby didn't die until the 27th, sometime after the 27th. So I am planning on doing some sort of breakdown because I'm still trying to make this make sense. Okay. Ooh, that's good news. Thank you, Amy Welsh. Thank you so much for that information. Let me pop that comment up here real quick. Oops, not that. There it is. Breaking the police. They have police tape up at the reserve. Okay. Thank you so much for that information. Now, we are going to go into that really quick. And then, of course, we got some other stories we got to talk about as well. But we are going to talk about this possibility of this newfound body that they found in the Carlton Reserve. So we are going to be talking about that. But like I said, I will be doing some sort of breakdown to talk about that. I most likely will be doing that as a live because it just feels better. I like talking with the fam, chopping it up with you guys, and seeing how you process the information, if any of it adds up, if the math is mathing, you know what I'm saying? I like to do that arithmetic live with you guys, okay? But one thing I want to talk about is now they say that there were cadaver dogs. This happened yesterday as well, like earlier, like in the afternoon yesterday. And so we got to talk about that as well. So I wanted to show this to you guys. Cadaver dogs in the Carlton Reserve. Now, they said this is not the first time that they have found a body as of recently. They said that they found others before. So let's take a look at this.
Marnie, the swamp seemed to be the center of attention once again today. Law enforcement and search crews were deep inside the reserve. This time, they were with canines.
Actually, real quick before we go into this, before we jump down this rabbit hole, please do us a favor, hit that like button down below. I see over 300 plus people watching the show right now. Hit that like button, send that past 100 likes. Just do that real quick. Just boop, quick. It doesn't even burn a calorie. All right. It's that easy. Okay. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. David, you wanted to say something before we continue?
Yeah, so I've seen this in chat in a few other places where people are arguing that because he was reading serial killer books or books about that kind of thing, that he was kind of training himself for this case. I mean, that's not usually how it seems to work. I mean, if you go back to Columbine, I mean, there's a lot of rumors about Doom that they made levels to train themselves in it and all this, and that was all made up. None of that was actually true. And it kind of reminds me of this, where just because he was reading a few books, they're creating these stories where he is being heavily influenced by those instead of just enjoying them. I mean, a lot of people read about serial killers or true crime. That's what we're talking about right now. And there's several hundred people listening to it. So I don't really think the fact that he was reading like anything related to killing would make him a killer, especially since, I mean, it sounds weird to say it, but he didn't really perform any of the things you would expect he would learn from a serial killer at that site. He didn't hide the body or anything. He didn't follow the kind of rules you would think somebody would learn from a serial killer. I just think it's a kind of non sequitur the same way they blame Columbine on Doom, for instance.
See, okay, see, like, and that's why it's like, come on, y'all. Like, I've read plenty of books that had to do with a murderer, serial killer, or like true crime books, so on and so forth. That does not automatically, or a book about a person losing their mind, having a psychotic break, and going on a killing spree. Shoot, one of my favorite books is American Psycho. Real talk. It's a great, I thought it was a fascinating book. I read it cover to cover in 2 days. It was that good. Does not automatically mean that I'm running around killing people. Doesn't automatically mean, oh, this person has bloodlust. No, it's just people have a certain taste in the content that they consume. Some people really love horror movies. Speaking of Halloween Kills, we're going to be doing a review. I saw it last night, so we will be talking about that. Is it good or not? Stay tuned. But at the same time, that doesn't automatically mean that just because you're a fan of horror movies, that suddenly you're a serial killer. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, yes, there are some cases like that, sure, where the person literally envelops their life around the content that they have. But you can't tell me that this guy who's going namaste, going to the local head shop to go buy the most poserish blankets and yoga mats he can find to show that he's all about peace and love means that he's see what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't connect. Suddenly he is a bloodthirsty monster with a knife or a gun or his hands. Just doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, it does not fit his MO. It doesn't to me. I think he's just an angry dude. He's a poser. He likes to think and show off and make it seem like he's one way. All right. But he really isn't. Does that mean that he's a serial killer? Does it mean that he likes to go on killing sprees? No, I don't think so. I just think that he's an abusive ass that took it way too far. And now we don't have this woman anymore. But then again, I want to hear from the horse's mouth. That's it. I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I want to hear what's going on. The only way we can really know what's going on is if we hear it from him or from the parents. Because here's the thing. Here's another thing before we continue. Everybody and their mama coming out the woodwork, sitting here saying, oh, I knew Brian. I know Brian. I know Gabby Petito. Oh, yeah, we were good friends. Oh, he was this, that, and the other. Really, though? Now you're talking about it? Oh, yeah, we've heard, like, there was some woman, I saw a video. Man, if I could find this ish, man. But there was a woman outside, a neighbor, by the way, a neighbor outside the Laundrie home, screaming at the house, saying, I heard Gabby screams in this house. If you heard screams in this house, why didn't you do something about it? So now you're coming up to the front lawn and saying, meh, and screaming out whatever you want to scream out. It's too late. It's too bloody late. Everybody's coming out being like, oh, yeah, I saw his evil streaks and they used to fight and then why are you giving us all this BS now? You should have done something when the things were happening right in front of your face. We got a man on the run or could be dead right now, and you got a woman that's been killed. Sorry. It doesn't make sense why everybody suddenly comes out and they go, yeah, they had such volatile, they had a volatile relationship, or yeah, there was violence between them, without a doubt. Then why didn't you do something about it when she was still alive? Now you want it, you want it for the cred? Miss me with that nonsense. Anyway, we're going to go down this rabbit hole really quick. Back to what we were saying. All I'm saying is, here it is, guys. Thank you, Philip Mitchell, for saying facts 100. Here it is. Before we jump down this rabbit hole about this cadaver in the Carlton Reserve, I urge every single last one of you, if there's some stuff that's going on in your neighborhood, next door, within your home, or your best friend, or something like that, and you know that there's something going on, you speak up. You don't wait until that person's gone and then suddenly go, yeah, I knew him once. Speak up. That's it. Just exactly, Queen Kimberly, say something. That's all. You don't have to be a hero, okay? You don't have to bust down the door and beat the guy or the girl up for doing whatever, this, that, and the third. If you know that you have a friend or a family member that is dealing with abuse or dealing with domestic violence, is a victim of it, speak the hell up. Don't wait until it's too late, and then next thing you know, you're just some name in an article right next to the hashtag justice for whoever. Period. Let's go down this rabbit hole, shall we? Cadaver, Carlton Reserve, Brian Enton, let go. I love you guys.
After no action at the Carlton Reserve for days, this morning, car after car of law enforcement arrived. And this was particularly interesting. A canine forensics unit. The Pasco County, Florida Sheriff's Office confirming they were called in by the FBI and are using their human remains detection canine at the reserve.
Again, this is an area they've searched several times in the past. The one thing we can tell you is that the area is drier than it has been. There's some law enforcement in the back of this vehicle.
The 24,000-acre reserve is a difficult place to search, but it's gotten easier over the past week because water levels continue to recede. With less flooding, is it possible investigators now believe they could locate Brian Laundrie's remains? They won't say, but Northport police did tell me less than 1 week ago they believe there's a 50-50 chance Brian is dead or alive.
I don't think that if we were to locate his body in the preserve, that it's going to benefit one way or the other the investigation. It will provide closure for the Laundrie family. I don't think it's obviously going to provide closure for the Petito family because they want answers. They want to know why, how, important things.
And there has been a lot of speculation over the last several days about whether the Laundrie family attorney, Mr. Bertolino, may know where Brian Laundrie is. We actually texted him that exact question today. We texted him, do you personally know where Brian Laundrie is? And his response today was, no, I do not. Marnie?
Interesting, Brian. Remind us, is this the first time that we have seen canines out at the reserve searching?
Hold on, I'm rolling this back one more time.
Brian Laundrie is. We actually texted him that several days.
Sorry
Why,
about that.
how, when, all those important things.
And there has been a lot of speculation over the last several days about whether the Laundrie family attorney, Mr. Bertolino, may know where Brian Laundrie is. We actually texted him that exact question today. We texted him, do you personally know where Brian Laundrie is? And his response today was, no, I do not.
Okay, I'm taking a quick second here. Prayer, apparently in the comments, somebody said Prayer's comment, shout out to Ner, thank you so much, and Debbie. I don't see a prayer. Prayer. I got
Prairie Rights History, I think.
Florida.
Story.
I see it now. Okay, so David, if you don't mind, can you you could just email me at the info at thepascalshow.com. And then just let me know if that's some contact information. That would be great. Because I'd love to have that person on, or if that person's available today, this morning, and they can hop on and chop it up, I'd love to have them on. You see what I'm saying? So Info at the Pascal Show. Prayers. What was it? Prayers. Show. Prayers.
Rewrites the story. Prayer rewrites the story.
Prayer rewrites the story. Yes. Info at thepascalshow.com. Send me their info. Shoot, I would love to hear their thoughts and see what's going on. Can I have him contact you? Yes, he can. If he wants to call in, he can call in. Okay. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. But this phone number is only open for this person. All right. The 314-766-4581. If he's around, I'm putting the phone number in the thing. This is only for him, the lawyer. What's the lawyer's name? That's what I want to know, Prayer, as well. Because if he has time to either hop on via video chat or to call in, shoot, I would love to pick his brain and get some answers here, because this stuff is just burning my insides. Okay. So let me know, comment in here, and everybody, because I'm looking at this screen over here. Just make sure I see, you know what I mean? To the mods, my beautiful, amazing mods, or David, if you're watching, just let me know if you know what I'm saying? If anything's in the chat that I miss. Bill
Amadeo.
Amadeo?
I think so.
Amadeo. Okay, Bill Amadeo. Thank you. Yeah. Just tell him to call in. Hold up. Sorry, this is like such a left turn. Oh, hold on. That was weird. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Are we back? Hold on. Are we back? Okay, we're back. All right. So that phone number that is out there is specifically only for Bill Amadeo. And that's and that's it. All right. So if he calls in while we're doing this, then of course I will hop on and grab the phone call. Okay. Now, as we were going on, let me get this back up again. I'm so sorry, guys, for the left turn. I appreciate all y'all's patience and understanding. But yes, let's get back into this story, shall we? More into this rabbit hole we go. Lego.
Arnie.
Interesting, Brian. Remind us, is this the first time that we have seen canines out at the reserve searching?
It's not. And it's also not the first time we've seen these cadaver dogs out there searching. The sheriff's office reminded us today that they've been called out periodically throughout the search. Today was just another day that the FBI asked for their assistance.
Many want to ask the parents if they know where Brian is tonight. You're outside the home tonight. I'm curious, are police still keeping a close eye, watching that house? And when the parents leave, are they being tailed?
Yeah, it's been quiet out here tonight. The parents haven't left at all today. There's really been no action. There's no marked police cars outside the house, but we do believe there are definitely undercover officers in the area.
Something about that reserve. All right, Brian, thank you. Let's bring in former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer now. Jennifer, thanks for being here as always.
This is Jennifer Coffendorfer's everywhere, by the way. She's all up in this show. Let's go.
So you have said up until now, you didn't think that Brian Laundrie was out in that room. Keep going back there. So what does the search today and the cadaver dogs tell you?
Well, I still remain skeptical that he is out there, but I do believe because the waters have receded and because they are conducting these very specific grid searches to make sure they search every portion of that reserve, that those waters receding have allowed these officers to go back in and continue to look in areas where he could have possibly been.
The biggest question I see from people on social media who are following this case closely over and over, like, what is it about this? Police and investigators have been really tight-lipped. Based on your experience behind the scenes, what could we be missing here that they may be going after?
Well, this is what I think we're missing. It's not known to the public corroborative information that the FBI, I believe, does have. Something like this in the phone that they recovered from his room when they did that search. is on that phone perhaps text messages where he discusses this hike or going on this hike. Possibly was there a witness that saw him enter that campground, or perhaps even a witness that took a camera photograph? And could that information probably led to their persistence at searching that reserve?
So it may not be only that his parents said that's where he was going, that's where we knew him to believe, we believe him to have been, right? That might not be the only reason they're out there.
That's correct.
Right.
I think if you look at what the public knows, which is the information's from the parents, he left behind all information that could use to track him. If you look at the fact that the Mustang was left there and then picked back up days later, in other words, how was he supposed to leave the reserve if he was truly there? The late action on the missing person report from the parents, all that would lead the public and myself that he is not there. But I believe they have some evidence showing he is there.
So we're seeing them search. We saw the cadaver dogs come out today. The focus has been on the reserve, but what are the chances, the likelihood that the FBI is searching in places we have no idea that are not as visible?
Very likely. I think the FBI is following up on numerous leads as to where he could be. And I think they're out there working. It's just the media doesn't know where they're at, so it's not being covered.
So, is Brian Laundrie's body in the reserve? I'm going to say hail to the no. Him ain't dead. He's alive. He just ain't here. I still do think that they're wasting their time looking at an area that, like I said, I feel like it's pointless where they are. But then again, I have been wrong on so many other occasions, so many other ones. And you never know. There's so many curveballs with this story and in this whole situation. You just never really know. Now, Queen Kimberly, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. She says, love you too, Pascal, and everything you do. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Any little bit of love helps this channel keep growing. So thank you again. Thank you. Now, here it is. He ain't dead. Or here it is. If he's dead, he ain't dead in no swamp. I'm going to be real. He ain't dead in no swamp. That body that they're finding, that body that they found, these human remains, I'm sure have been there for a very long time. I'm sure. Or it could just be a body part. You see what I'm saying? It could just be a decayed body part. But I don't think it's Brian Laundrie out there, y'all. I really don't. I really, really don't. Now, real quick, before I throw it over to David, Prayers said something about a phone number.
I asked them to email it to you. I don't know if they did.
Yeah, I haven't received anything as of yet, but I guess it would just be something that I have to give them a call, I guess, because I'd have to call them on another time and then just have them on to chop it up about it. I guess that's what we're gonna have to do, because on some real stuff, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what I don't know if he's cool with me calling him live on the show, like impromptu like this. So with all due respect, okay, thank you, Prayer. I see. Fixing to email you. You from the South. fixing to email you. No, but thank you so much. Definitely send me the information. And then I'll call Amadeo when I get a time after the show, and maybe I can have him come on. If this story is still popping at that time, you know what I'm saying? If there's still questions and all that stuff, then we can have him on maybe on Monday or something like that, or during the weekend. I've been doing some random impromptu lives during the weekends as well. Okay. But I just see, here's the other thing though, too. If Brian Laundrie was dead, I think the parents would be losing their damn minds. I think that if the parents knew that he was already dead, they wouldn't be reacting or being how they are as of late. I feel like there would have been something more going on. Just in my personal opinion, I just feel like there'd be a lot more going on from the parents, a lot more reaction, a lot more sadness, something. I feel like they would have said something, you know? So yes, there is this real quick. Sorry, David. There is activity at the Carlton Reserve. They noticed on the Northport side. They basically have the same area where Chris Laundrie showed up last week to assist the search. There is police tape wrapped around this fence area. Brian Enton also said this too. At this point, I would not read into the yellow tape. They've had the reserve closed, and this opening is a spot us media have been able to walk in. I think they're trying to keep us out. That's what he's saying right now on his twits. Okay, David, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't think he's in the Carlton Reserve at this point. They've searched through it multiple times with bloodhounds and cadaver hounds. The bloodhounds searching specifically for his scent from artifacts they got from his house, some sort of items. And of course, the cadaver dogs can find corpses in general. That's what they are trained for. But they didn't find anything. So I don't think he's in the Carlton Reserve. Some people have suggested he might have been eaten by an alligator, but an alligator wouldn't be able to eat his whole skeleton. That would still be laying right out in the open, and they would investigate any human skeleton that they found.
Facts.
So I don't think if he's dead, I don't think he's in Carlton Reserve. I think most likely I don't know. It's really hard to say. I doubt he's out in the wilderness itself because, I mean, even a very well-trained person would have trouble surviving this long out there, even with wire traps and like water catches and everything. And he probably doesn't even know how to do a lot of that. So he's likely getting food from some sort of town to kind of supplement whatever he's doing if he's hiding out in the wilderness, because that's what most people do. You can't reliably depend on foraging and hunting when you're don't have a reserve of food. So someone's probably helping him. I don't think he'd be able to survive by himself like that. It would be very hard for somebody that's trained that way to survive, just because of how dispersed, like wildlife and stuff is across these parks. So I don't think he's there. I think if he's alive, which I think is most likely, he could very well have left by boat or towards the north along the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail is very populated and a lot of people go there. But with how many misidentifications there have been, I think that if he just shaved his beard and did a comb over, most people probably wouldn't recognize him. Grew out his hair a little bit and covered that bald spot up. Kind of gross, like you see some people do.
Right.
But I think that would be enough to confuse a lot of people because they do think that he's a bigger person and all of that, generally speaking. At least that's what I've noticed people seem to be thinking. And so I think just because of how specific his look was, that he could easily hide his look just by shaving a little bit and then growing out his hair for the comb over. And that might be enough to trick people along the Appalachian Trail, because a lot of people are very scruffy along the Appalachian Trail, as you may expect.
Right.
You don't always get to shower or bathe every day, maybe every 3 days. Just use alcohol wipes in the meantime. So I mean, he could be on that trail very well. But since it's so populated, I do think he would have had to change his image. Leaving by boat, and some people have suggested his family owns a boat. I wasn't able to verify that, but that also makes a lot of sense based on the Carlton Reserve being so close to the coast. And that gives them access to a lot of places to show up. I mean, the Coast Guard right now is intercepting any single ship that is coming to the U.S. because you're not allowed to enter by ship right now. So that would be up to the Coast Guard. But if he's not trying to come back into America, if the boat went to Mexico or further south, they wouldn't know where it shows up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you could go in a boat, you can go anywhere, you know, you could literally go anywhere or just disappear. You know, of course you got to survive the harsh, the harsh realities of the ocean as well. But if you know how to navigate decently, you could just you know, you can go out a few miles and stay out far away. You see what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Like I said, it's just not fully. We don't have any answers, right? We don't have any answers at all. And it's frustrating as hell. There is something here I wanted to hear. I'm not going to play the video, but I wanted to hear this because just really quick, I just wanted to hear this. This girl did a TikTok about human remains. The human remains detection K9 joins the search in Carlton Reserve. I just want to hear this just really quick.
I have breaking news for you guys right now. A human remains detection canine has now joined the search in the Carlton Reserve today since last week when I noticed that activity was ramping up at the reserve. Stay tuned for more updates.
Okay. It's just, see, like I said, they bring in a cadaver dog, right? And it doesn't mean anything. It could mean they just found another body. Because isn't it interesting that, like, since they've been on this hardcore search, they have found other dead bodies. During these searches, they found other bodies and bodies of people that have been missing for a while too. So I'm not surprised if they find a body out in the reserve that has nothing to do with Brian Laundrie.
I mean, 650,000 people go missing every year, and a large number of those are obviously along trails and stuff because there's no one to find them as easily.
Exactly. So, because no one would dare, you know what I mean? No one would dare go all the way out into the swamp, right? Mm-hmm. To just drop off a dead body, to discard a body, right? No one would dare. Come on now. If you have enough time and you know for a fact that it's a reserve and nobody's out here doing their thing, you can discard a body there. And then lo and behold, months later, a Gabby Petito craze starts happening. And next thing you know, they're going on the search. I'm sure they're finding all kinds of stuff out there. I'm sure they're finding all kinds of stuff out there. This is not the only dead body they're going to find. And I'm telling you, it's not Brian Laundrie. I guarantee you. Okay? It is not Brian Laundrie. Go ahead, David.
There's one thing that I want to bring up because I still haven't seen a lot of places cover this. And people keep asking if his parents could be helping him. Well, there's still this trip that I'm pretty sure was intended to be a meeting with him that they broke off. They traveled a total of 150 miles to go to a library and leave without looking at anything or checking anything out. Obviously, they're not even from the county. They can't check it out. And they were on the phone the whole time they were there. And as soon as they saw they were being followed, they left and went back home, drove another 75 miles to get back home, and never did anything at that location that they went to. I mean, it was just a library and they weren't even doing research. So, and they're not from the county, so they probably can't check it out. Why were they there? They were obviously, and they called somebody. Once they got there, they were obviously planning to meet somebody. And it wouldn't be their lawyer because they meet him in public and open all the time. So who would it be? I mean, we don't know all their relations, but the obvious answer is that they were trying to meet up with Brian Laundrie. That's why they went so far away to such a library instead of somewhere. I mean, the library is a good meeting place, but it's not a good place to go if you're not there for books. And that didn't seem like they were there for books or anything. They never read, they never checked anything out. They just used the phone and then they disappeared. So I think that was a planned meeting with their son. And I think at least as far as they still know, he's alive. They may not get daily updates about what he's doing. But I do think they know that he's alive, at least in the general sense, and that he's somewhere, maybe not specifically where, but he's somewhere out in, say, like he might have just said the Appalachian Trail or something, or wherever he is. You can be very vague. So they probably know he's alive and they don't know exactly where he is so that the police can't kind of get that out of them. That's what I think anyway.
Sorry. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I think there's many layers, and of course, I do think that there are people who are seriously thinking that he could be hiding in plain sight, like Sarah Boldman just said. Why are they not checking the condo? By the way, excuse me, they did check the condo. They went and checked the condo while they were on a while they had Chris Laundrie with them. So I really don't know. You know, he must be hiding in plain sight somewhere. It's got to be. But like I said, I don't get why they haven't thrown a case at the parents, why the lawyer hasn't been thrown under the bus. I mean, anything to make them squeal like a damn pig, because he clearly is still alive. He's still here. He's still out here doing whatever the hell he wants, enjoying himself. All right. So that piece, this whole thing does not make any sense. By the way, I haven't received an email. So if somebody's trying to send an email, I haven't received any emails as of yet. Okay, just so you guys know. But like I said, info at thepascalshow.com. You can send me information over there, and we can get things popping like that. But right now, I have not received any emails at all. But if you do have anything that you want me to check out, by all means, you can send me an email, that kind of thing. Don't spam me. But like I said, send me emails and we'll make this thing popping. Okay. Info at thepascalshow.com. Okay. Info at thepascalshow.com. All right. So we got to move on. Of course, we got to move on into two other stories. And this one's a little bit lighter before we go into something heavier. Okay. Can I put the email back in the chat? All right. 1 second. Info at the I have like thick fingers, for crying out loud. Type to save my life. Boom. Info at thepascalshow.com. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Info at thepascalshow.com. Okay. So moving on, we got to go into our next stories because we got a little bit of time left before we have to wrap up the show. So moving on, we got to go into this. I went and saw a movie, and guess what movie I saw? I saw Halloween Kills. All right, it is the sequel to the recent Halloween movie. It is a new, what is it? Like a new revamping, reimagining of this whole of the Halloween franchise. And here it is. Real quick, just so you know, this is the synopsis on IMDb. So Halloween Kills, of course, it stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer. And let me say, this is the synopsis. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode continues in the next thrilling chapter of the Halloween series. That is the synopsis.
Just like most of the Halloween movies.
That's it. That's all that is. Okay. Now, here it is. Was the movie good? No. Sorry, I'm going to break a lot of y'all hearts. One of the good things about the movie is it does exactly what the title says. Kills. Halloween Kills. Literally. Not like Halloween Kills, like Halloween Kills, like Halloween Kills. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Halloween Kills. Because no one's safe in this movie. That's I'm going to say. All right. And I don't mean to break anyone's dreams. A little bit just said, killing my dreams, Pascal. Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't tell me the movie's bad, man. Come on. I'm looking forward to it, man. Hey, here it is. Here it is. Here's the one thing that I'm telling you right now. Yes. The kills in this movie are amazing. I'm not going to sit here and say that it wasn't entertaining, because it definitely was. All right. It was entertaining, but the script was trash. The whole script was trash. And there's a lot of moments in the movie where you're just like, why are you telling us? Like, here it is. I'm a guy who I love movies, right? And I love writing. I love the process of script writing and all that stuff. So I've seen movies aplenty, right? I've seen my fair share of movies. Don't come to this movie expecting it to be, I don't know, Citizen Kane, okay? Because it's not. No way, shape, or form. The script is terrible. The acting still is good, but the script is trash. Okay? So when you see something like this, you're going, okay, well, this is a popcorn movie. I'm here to see this. I'm here to see a bunch of people get killed, and that's it. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, how am I supposed to sit here and get upset or expect amazing script writing in a horror flick, right? But there's been plenty of horror movies that were really, really good, really, really well done, really well written, that are part of the horror movie genre. So when it comes to this movie, I'm just like, because a lot of it is almost like they're explaining it to the audience, and like they're making it seem like the audience are idiots. And we're not done. Like I said, if you've seen movies, you'll know this. Period. Okay? But at the same time, it was entertaining. That's all I'm saying. It was entertaining, but that's all it is. Entertainment. I'm sorry, but it was trash. The ending, I'm sorry, was trash. I can't really, because I'm not going to give you guys spoilers. I know Nat A just said I just muted Pascal until he's done.
I'll just disappear myself
until he's done. But here it is. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to give you guys any spoilers. But the ending was trash. I'm trying to find better ways to say this without giving it all away. It just wasn't good. It was really, really lackluster, watered down, phoned in performances, phoned in dialogue. A lot of times it was almost like they were trying to explain to trying to break the fourth wall, trying to explain to the audience, like, hey, this just happened. Metaphorically, it means this. I'm like, shut the hell up. We're not that stupid. And it felt like that. So
I'm still going to see it this weekend.
No. Like I said, if you want to see some good kills, you want some good jump scares and all that, there it is. It's in there. It most definitely is. But it's just not good. And I'm sitting here, man. Is this over? Is it the last one or not? That's the question. But it felt it was just mediocre. Like I said, I was just watching it and I'm like, at the end, because at the end you're hoping something else and it doesn't happen. Nothing that you expect to happen happens. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Phoned in, abbreviated crap. That movie could have been so much better. So much better. But the kills were cool. Some of them. And then some of the kills they just turned away from. That's all I'm going to say. Some of them be like, oh, snap. Like that happened. I did do that. Out loud. During the movie. Oh, shit. Like that. You know what I'm saying? That did happen in the movie. Okay. But it was few and far between, like I said. Okay. But here it is. If you like that kind of stuff, you're going to get entertained. If you want entertainment, you want a good Halloween movie to watch, yes, you're going to get your scares. You're going to do that. It's popcorn fun. But like I said, if you're expecting to see something more, it's not in this movie. Not at all.
I wouldn't
Not
expect
at
him to
all.
beat John Carpenter anyway. But have you seen 5, 6, and what was it? The Rob Zombie movies? Is it better than those? If you've seen them,
Yes, I've seen them. Okay, here it is. And prayer rewrites. Thank you so much. Yes, I did text them back already. So we are in corresponding. We're in correspondence right now. So thank you so much for the hookup. But here it is. The first one, the first Halloween of this franchise, of this new reboot, is way better than any of those Rob Zombie movies, for sure. This one seems like it is very much in the middle of the road. Like it's very much a sequel, right? Like, you know, clearly they're planning on doing a franchise type thing, obviously. So it is very in the middle of the road. There are things that you feel like should have been happening, but don't happen at all. Like I said, it's just you're just like, bruh, nothing happens except for a whole bunch of killing. So, just saying.
that's why I was never too interested in writing for movies, because half the time the director just ignores what you wrote and then breaks the story. I've only done like a student film and wrote a few scripts for those types of things, but you know, a lot of times the directors think they want to show something instead of follow the story, and then stuff doesn't make sense anymore, unfortunately. But especially in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, you know, like I don't know why, but Shay said something earlier, and it's like, why have movies gotten so not so good lately? A lot of them are very, very phoned in, like just paint by numbers. Let's just get it done so we can just make the money, so the actors can get paid, the director and the production house can get paid. But this movie was so bad, man. Like, I just didn't like it. I'm sorry. Like I said, fun. If you're just looking for some brainless crap and not having to think about anything, watch that movie and enjoy yourself, you know? But at the same time, there's other things that I'm just like, man, it's not good. And to answer one of the questions, somebody said, ongoing question, Jason or Mike Myers? Mike Myers. I never really liked any of the Jason movies, but that's just me. I think that they just lacked, like they were just like, I feel like and no disrespect to any of the people who create these movies, but I feel like with Jason, it was kind of like somebody did a couple lines and said, bruh, let's give him a hockey mask, a machete, and we got a whole bunch of boobies in it. Let's go. You know what I mean? But they're out in the wilderness type stuff. So to me, I was not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Jason, personally. Laura Strada, thank you so much for $5 super chat. Pascal and David, why do you think we like to watch horror flicks so much? Because, you know, it makes us feel alive. You know what I'm saying? It makes us it makes us feel alive. It makes us appreciate not having to go through that kind of gruesome death, right? And I don't know. I think there's something about it that just entices people, right? It's a form of entertainment it's a form of escapism that allows the person to, you know what I'm saying, get away, right? Turn their brain off and not think about anything and just be sucked into this horror flick or whatever, right? It's always that, whoo, thank you, Jesus. I'm still alive. I'm still here. You know what I mean? But like I said, I think that when it comes to horror movies, it is a bit erotic as well. Yes, I said it. It is a bit erotic. I mean, you got a dude running around with a pointy object. Most of the time, he's killing girls, right? There's a lot of boobs and you know, sexually explicit type of content in there. People like to watch that stuff. And like I said, people like stupid stuff as well. And yes, Amanda, you're not wrong. Violence is attractive to some people. Actually, it's attractive to all of us. When was the last time you were in a car and you were in a like a bumper to bumper type of traffic because there was an accident down the road? Shoot, they're not even like the cops haven't even showed up, or it could just literally be a little bit of a fender bender, right? Everybody slows down expecting to see some blood. Everyone slows down to see what's going on because it's something that we like. It's something that we like. We will wait. We want to see that train wreck. We want to see that those salacious visuals and stuff. Real talk. Rubbernecking, exactly, the Pioneer. Rubbernecking for some death. But literally, how many times you sitting in the car and you're like, man, this better be a good accident. I'm just being real. How many times you're going, man, this better. You just see what I'm saying? And you pull over and you see nothing, or you see something that's absolutely just horrifying. Huh? So that's why we like this stuff. And then it's kind of like, I don't want to watch it, but I kind of do, but I don't, but I do, but I don't, but I do. Ah! Like that. That's people like that stuff.
Yeah, I have this like big, I don't know where it is right now, but I have this big Friday the 13th like coffee table book. It kind of talks about this. It has like an essay in the back. I don't remember what the essay was called, but it basically talks about how people tend to watch these movies that are supposed to make you anxious because they already have a form of anxiety about things in real life. And it kind of provides a like cathartic release when you see other people being so anxious and you're observing them in a worse situation. Kind of makes you feel better about your life. At least that's what the study said. I think it's probably true to a degree, because if you notice, like, if you look throughout the past, horror movies have been always popular during some of the worst times, like the Depression, World War II, the start of the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, where some of the times horror movies jumped up the most, because it does kind of provide, at least based on the study, and I think it's true, it does provide people a release for those feelings of anxiety and violence that they're worried about, even though it's fake. So it's like a kind of a healthier way to dealing with those anxieties sometimes. And I think it is very much true. I mean, at least for me, engaging with fiction can let a lot of emotions go and help you manage them more. So I think that is I think that article is very correct.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about it that we are drawn to. We're drawn to it. Look at this. We have been covering the Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito case for, I think, a month now, a solid month, dabbling in and out and then just going hardcore into it. Why? Because people cannot avert their eyes from this crazy train wreck circus that we've been watching, this soap opera, because it's like living a real life Lifetime movie. And don't get it twisted. Don't act like you ain't never seen a Lifetime movie with your girl because there was nothing else better to watch, so you watched it anyway, but you knew it was going to be trash, but you still had to watch it because it was something to watch, because you already been watched everything on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and the such. So you end up watching it, you go, what the hell is this stuff? But you still are into it, kind of. Why? Because it's entertaining. Worst acting in the world, worst storyline, all that stuff. But you're like, what? That person is a twin cousin from an alien spaceship. The hell is going on? What? The dog killed who? I'm just saying. And you're still sucked into that. Why? Because it's entertainment. It's escapism. It's something that keeps our brains off of whatever we have to deal with. Oh, the bills. Oh, crappy girlfriend, crappy boyfriend, crappy relationships in general. It turns our brains off from whatever is going on in our life and put our judgment on somebody else. Literally. Come on, girl. Go run out the front door. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. That's it. We all love it. And we can't keep our eyes off of it. And we're watching it right now as we speak in real life, in 4K. Real talk. with this Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie situation. And guess what? None of us can avert our eyes from this situation. We are waiting to see him come out and go, here's the truth, guys, or him dead. And we're waiting to see the body. And then you know for a fact, if this man is actually dead, wait for somebody to leak the photo of his body. Just saying. Because we are that fixated on that kind of violence. Just saying. Just saying. Think about it. We watch this every single day. Black men and women who are getting brutalized by cops every single day. They're showing us the body cam footage we showed on here all the time. Why? Because it's terrible. It is a real life horror movie. Real life. But we're still watching it. We'll still watch a man lose his life under the knee of a cop. Because you can't avert your eyes from it. We will watch it. Yes, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, you're going, oh my God. This is actually real? Just saying. We do this every single day. Anyway, moving on to the next story. So Halloween Kills. Is it good or not? No, it's not. But if you want to be entertained, go check it out and enjoy yourself. There's some really, really good kills, but then I wish there was some other kills that were a little bit seen. I wanted to see more gore. I guess that's just my thing. That's what I'm trying to say. I was expecting to see more gore, and we didn't see that. But it's cool. If you're wanting something for Halloween, in the spirit of Halloween, for something fun and entertaining, then watch it. I guarantee you're going to have a good time. Regardless, it's going to be a good time. Bring your most noisiest and loudest friends you have. The ones that scream at the screen. And that's black and white people do that now. Okay? So don't go, let me get all my black friends real quick. No. Bring a smattering of friends. Trust me, they're all going to be screaming at the screen. That's what happened when I went to see it. We were all screaming at the movie screen. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, but the movie wasn't good. There you go. Anyway, let's go into our final and last story of the day, guys. So my understanding is that Netflix employees are going to be walking out, staging a walkout due to this backlash, or due to the fact that the Netflix has decided to keep the Dave Chappelle final movie or final stand-up, The Closer, on their streaming site. Dave's got the story. What's up with this, man?
All right, so this story is coming from The Verge. They're the ones who we reached out to begin the interview. So every other article you see right now about this is coming from basically them reporting on The Verge. That is the source for the story right now. But like Pascal said, they're expecting to do a walkout on October 20th. And this is directly a protest over Dave Chappelle's last comedy special, The Closer. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like it's good, I guess. But it seems like it made a lot of the people that work there angry. So they go on to say, one of the leaders of this kind of transgenders right groups say that trans lives matter, trans rights matter. And as an organization, Netflix has continually failed to show deep care in our mission to entertain the world by repeatedly releasing content that harms the trans community and continually failing to create content that represents and uplifts trans content. We can and must do better. And they provided this in a letter to the Netflix CEO and board. All right, so what ended up happening is that Netflix actually ended up firing a few people. Specifically, the one that came under attention was Tara Field, but there were two others as well. And they were suspended for basically walking into a director-level meeting that they were not invited to. So this one is a little strange, this part is, because they ended up bringing her back, the only one that's been named so far. They brought her back because Tara Field because they said they decided she had no ill intent to come to the meeting and no ill intent to disrupt it. So they hired her back over that. However, they're still getting protested because of that action of getting rid of her and because of releasing this special, as well as I think it was his last special where he said something about the trans community that angered them then. I mean, the trans community has been angry at Dave Chappelle a lot, but I think it's his last two specials have gotten the most attention from them, as far as I can tell anyway. So Netflix employees say that comments made by CEO Ted Sarandos made a lot of the protesters angrier. And on the 8th, the executive sent an internal email saying the company would not be taking down the special. And they still have not and do not plan to as of today, the 15th of October.
Nope.
Sarandos also wrote a second memo saying, "Our hope is that you can be hugely inspired by entertaining the world while also living with titles you strongly believe have no place on Netflix. This will not be the last title that causes some of you to wonder if you can still love Netflix. I sincerely hope that you can." And like I said, I haven't seen this, but allegedly in the special, Chappelle addresses critiques he's gotten from the LGBT community and then doubled down on his jokes about trans people. They don't say specifically what the jokes are. You have to jump on Netflix to see the special for yourself, and I do plan to watch it. I just don't have Netflix right now. But the organizers of the event say that as we've discussed through Slack, email, text, and everything in between, our leadership has shown us that they do not uphold the values to which we are held. Between the numerous emails and non-answers that we have been given, we have been told explicitly that we somehow cannot understand the nuance of certain content. And yeah, that's generally it right now. We're still at that point where they're still protesting it. Tara Reid, I believe was her name, has been hired again. And but the protest goes on because mostly at this point, it's because they won't get rid of the Chappelle special, even though they brought those people back that they hired for fired for coming into the meeting when they were not invited. And this was a high-level meeting.
You know, when it comes to this walkout, here it is. To each their own. If you want to stage a walkout, that's on you, right? I will never sit there and be upset about somebody who feels some type of way about something. And if that person feels that a walkout is going to send a very direct message to their employer, then by all means, do whatever you need to do. My only concern is how Netflix is going to handle this from this point on. What are they going to do? Are they going to fire the people that walk out? Within the confines of whatever their contract is, within their handbook, within employee the employee handbook, would this fall into the confines of them being terminated from their job? I don't know. But I'm never going to sit there and be mad at somebody trying to make their point, get their point across. My only thing is that I feel that, and we had a long discussion about this last Friday we had this conversation with Lady Justice on, and I don't see what he did that was so incredibly wrong. I think that he wrapped it up in a nice bow. I think that he had a story in there that was heartwarming, funny, and insightful. I think he is an ally to the trans community. I don't think he is against the trans community. That's just my personal opinion. But some people feel some type of way about this. And I did bring up a conversation on Friday, and I'm going to bring it up again right now. And I'm going to throw this to Dave. To David. And my thing is, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because I was one of the people that was laughing too. I thought some of the stuff there were some things I was like, man, not so much. I didn't like that one. But there were some other parts where I was laughing. I'm like, oh my God, that's funny. Or it was funny, but it made me think. But when I thought about it, I was like, and I said this last Friday, I'm going to say it again. If you took out trans or any homophobic words, transphobic, words that were in here, in that stand up, and you put in racial slurs, anything that was derogatory towards black people, and say that Dave Chappelle was not black, he was Asian, he was Hispanic, white, whatever, and he was saying racist, derogatory terms about a specific group, would it still be okay? That's the question I keep throwing out here. Now, Lady Justice answered it pretty well, and I understand that there are many conversations that need to be had on a much grander platform, and he was bringing this in and having this conversation. But at the same time, I look at this and I go, well, what wrong was he doing? Because here's the thing. He was talking about the alphabet community, right? He would say that he was making jokes about the LGBTQ plus community in the first special he did. So if it was a huge problem then, why didn't Netflix take the stuff down then? Cool with it. They continued on. And like I said, I look at that final one, the closer, and I look at it as him saying a kind, heartfelt, well thought out, funny, humorous, and emotional story about a friend of his that happened to be a part of the trans community. So for me, it's like, okay, like I said, if you want to stage a walkout, do your thing. I'm not angry about that. Do your thing. Because here's the thing. That's the only way sometimes you can get your voice heard. So I get it. If that's what you need to do, then do it. But will you have a job when you get back? Will your voice be heard properly by doing this walkout? Those are the questions I like to pose to those people that are deciding to walk out of their job on the 20th. Will it hurt or will it help? That's the question. David, what's your thoughts?
I agree pretty much. I have said this before. I haven't said it in a while, but generally speaking, I will be against almost every act of censorship, and that includes getting rid of his special for making offensive jokes. I think it's his right to make offensive jokes, and it's everyone's right to be offended and not go, or to be amused by the offense. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, find things that would be offensive to them to be funny. So, I'm okay with those kind of jokes, especially, if they're directed at me. I just think it's funny. And that's just the way I kind of see it. But of course, not everyone views it that way. They take comedy very seriously. And I don't think comedy should be taken that way. But so ultimately, I think his special should stay. As far as them being fired and brought back, I think they did that just because it looked bad. I think they really did just fire them because they came into that meeting that they were not allowed to be in. And I think they might have just been hired back to kind of mitigate that damage that they pumped the PR from that.
Because it was three employees that were fired, correct?
Yeah.
Wasn't it 3 employees that barged in during the meeting and was like, this is preposterous type thing, right? And there's hey, here it is. If you feel some type of way about it, hey, get it. I ain't mad at nobody for feeling some type of way about it. Art is art. Comedy is in the eye of, or in the ear of the beholder, literally, if you really think about it. Because one person might find hilarious, another person's going, bro, what the hell? How do you think this is funny? This ain't funny at all, man. This dude ain't funny at all. Man, this dude hilarious, though. Man, this ain't funny. He's just doing poop jokes the entire time. Man, it's hilarious. Like I said, comedy is in the ear of the beholder. Literally. So I understand a group of people being upset about something. Absolutely, I get it. But then when you look at the majority of other people who are watching it, and they're laughing. I don't know. It's like I said, it's so, the perspectives are so, it's hard because I've never, nor will I ever live in the shoes of somebody who is a member of the trans community, and I never will be, because I'm not trans, and I don't live that lifestyle. You know, I'm a boring cisgender Haitian American male. That is me, and nor can anyone be able to live in my shoes being me. Right? They'll never know what it's like being me, and vice versa. So, like I said, they have every right to stand up for what they believe in, if that's what they want to stand up and fight for. But I'll say this, though, too. Why didn't the people go out there, and why weren't employees and stuff losing their damn minds when they were putting out crazy stuff like Cuties on Netflix, where you got kids with their young girls being shot in weird positions and grinding on the ground and stuff like that? Sexually explicit stuff with minors. Nobody was doing staging a walkout then. So what's up? So that's okay, but Dave Chappelle's comedy ain't? That does not make sense. So you're willing to stage a walkout for a guy who's speaking onto a microphone and saying some words, but you will not do the same thing when you got movies where they are depicting some seriously explicit stuff on minors. That movie's still on Netflix, y'all. And I remember everybody and their mama talking about this stuff. I remember we covered this. Remember that? Remember that movie? Cuties? We talked about that ish.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody tripping over that. But we're tripping over a guy on a microphone speaking and talking about a story and making some jokes and throwing out his own personal opinions on things. Now, yes, I think there were some moments where he was punching down. But it's not like he sat there and said, oh, the trans community shouldn't exist. And it's not like he said anything extremely violent or volatile towards a community. But like I said, who am I to say anything, because I am not a part of that community? I have mad respect for that community. I understand the struggles. I'm fully aware of what's going on. And if you want to walk out, by all means, walk out. But I'm saying to make sure that what you're walking out on, that your message is absolutely clear. I think this situation, they're barking up the wrong tree. I think there are other things to be focused on. I think there's other issues at hand that need to be focused on. And it's not all spent on focusing on Dave Chappelle. I think the same energy that they're focusing on him could be spent on trans rights, more things that need to go on within the trans community. Not, let's just take this thing down because just to see if we can exercise our power. Because here's the thing. There will be another comedian that's going to go out and say some stuff. Probably worse than what. Just saying. So like I said, I understand where they're coming from and how they're feeling about this. But I think that the focus is, I think it's an unfocused act, if that makes any sense. Or sorry, a misaimed shot. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Because here it is. We all deserve our rights. We all deserve to have a life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness. We all deserve to be happy on this planet. We all deserve not to be called derogatory terms. We all deserve to be happy and be around people that we love and they love us. And we all be under the same sun, dancing and having a great time and all that. But I think that there's got to be a better way of addressing our issues and not just going after one man and a comedy special.
If I remember right, too, this special actually ends his 3 stand-up contract or 3 films contract. I don't know how they termed it that he had with Netflix. So technically, he's no longer obligated to work with them, but they seem like the CEOs, seems like they're very willing to keep Chappelle on and that they want him to stay on. Because even after the contract's over, obviously they want to renew it. They're still defending him and trying to keep the film up. And obviously, it's also a very profitable film because it seems like it's doing very well. And, especially with streaming services, having that kind of thing that everyone comes to check out is a very useful kind of marketing tool. So I think they will probably end up, based on what they're saying, renewing their contract or just letting Chappelle continue on with making specials when he feels like it. But he seems to like Netflix as well. I think it was on Twitter, but he has thanked them in the past for kind of standing up for him a bit. So I think they have a very good relationship, him and the kind of corporate side of Netflix. So I do expect we will see more from him in the future, even though his contract's done, just because of how much support he's getting from them right now. Yeah. And the positive things he said about them in the past. It just seems like they have a good relationship. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah. Like I said, he ain't going nowhere. Trust me. And because if there's controversy, that means ratings. That's all it is. And of course, let's be real. Netflix ain't going to take something down because they spent so much damn money on this man. $50 million for 5 specials. So you got paid $10 million for every single special that he ever put up. You think they're going to sit there and throw away $10 million? Hell to the no. They ain't going to do that. They're going to sit there and go, oh, wait, this bad publicity that he's getting on this Netflix special is making people watch it even more. So, yay, I win. We all win, baby. That's why he's sitting there going, yeah. He doesn't care because he already has the checks clearing in the bank. This is only bringing more stuff to him. Now, he says he's closed the chapter on it. Like he said, this episode, this is the last time I'm talking about it. Bang, bang, bang. And he said his stuff. But you can't expect him to go up there and just go, listen, this is what I need to say, and I'm going to talk about this, and this is how I feel about the trans community, and blah, 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 with all due respect. No, he's going to do it in his Dave Chappelle way. He has made fun of every single person on this planet. Every single type of person, he has made fun of them on this planet. I don't know. Like I said, he's bringing up some stuff that we all need to talk about. We all need to think about. He said some things at the very end of it that were very well done. It was a very powerful ending to this whole saga, to all this stand-up. And I think that what he said was very, very well done. At the end of it, and that part, like I said, everything leading up to it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Some of it I just didn't get. Not some of it. There was only one part I didn't get, but everything else I got, but there was there were some parts in it where I was just like, meh. But then he went into this story about Daphne, and I was really moved, and I laughed, and I was part of a story. I was engulfed in the story, and then when he's told the ending, I was like, oh my God, wow. And then he wrapped it up, and I was like, that's amazing. To me, I don't see him as an enemy of the trans community or the LGBTQ community. In fact, for the whole freaking special, he's talking about how he's like, I was just saying some jokes. And everyone now, he's like, now I get so much backlash. He's telling us about him sitting at a bar and the lady showing a photo of her daughter. And then he's like, oh, that's a beautiful woman. that's a beautiful girl. And then she's like, oh, well, do you know that? Well, she's trans. You know what I mean? And he's just like, bruh, it was just stories. It was just a joke. It was just a joke. But then he moved on to that next part, the ending, the end story that shook, I feel like, everyone to the core. Like I said, there's so much that I understand from the frustration from the trans community. I get it. But I don't think that they saw the forest through the trees. They were looking at the punchlines and they weren't looking at the message. And I wish that everybody would look at the message or rewatch it 3 or 4 times so that you can get away from hearing the jokes and being offended by the jokes and actually listen to the story, listen to the message that's being said in there. And I think a lot of people would sit here and think different, in my personal opinion. But I do have a member of the trans community coming on next week. I'm very excited to have that conversation because obviously this is a story we're going to be talking about and covering over the next over the next week, because the walkout, the alleged walkout, happens next Wednesday. Yeah, happens next Wednesday if I'm correct. So it looks like Tuesday I'll be having some members of the trans community on Tuesday morning to chop it up about all this stuff and hear their opinions about this. Because, like I said, I'm only one person. David's only one person. We're only 2 guys with our own personal opinions about this stuff. And, it's nice to hear from the other side what their opinions are, why, they agree with this walkout, what Dave Chappelle said or did that was so earth-shatteringly wrong. So we will be having some people on the show. It looks like Tuesday morning to chop it up and talk about this as well. So I'm looking forward to having them on because we need to have this open conversation. We do. And I'm all for everyone getting their voices heard, as you already know. Some of you guys may not know, for those of y'all who just showed up to the show. But we keep this conversation open and honest. So, anyway, guys, that is the show for today. All right. I want to say a big thank you to David for coming on, chopping it up with me. I really do appreciate it.
It was an interesting show today.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? And by the way, Adele's new song just dropped last night, if I'm correct. So if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, it's definitely really good. It's very Adele-ish. All right, it's very Adele. It's just her voice and piano. What else is new? You know what I'm saying? She doesn't suck. Adele's kind of dope. If you didn't already know this, the girl's got a voice. So check it out if you get a chance. That new thing is out. And of course, and if you're a fan of the Netflix show You, the new season just dropped today. So for those of y'all who are trying to find something to do, something to binge over this weekend, you got a series to go check out. I'm telling you, if you have not seen You yet, go check it out. It is really, really good. It is entertaining as hell. Speaking of serial killers, that's all I'm gonna say. Go and watch it. Trust me, you'll thank me later. It's entertaining. Okay. And for the fellas, it's a great one you can watch with your girl too. So if you're in a relationship, okay, whatever relationship you're in, okay, like I said, you can watch this with your girl or watch this with your loved one and not be bored because it's very entertaining. Yes, it's serial, not serial killers, but like Captain Crunch killers. Like guy comes in and just starts stabbing a bowl of Captain Crunch. They come out of nowhere. Rah! You know what I mean? Stabbing a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know what I'm saying? What were you going to say, David?
Saying you're naming all the good ones. It's worth it.
man, come on, it's delicious. You know what I mean? Some Frosted Flakes. You know what I mean? Some Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill some Honey Nut Cheerios after this. Probably.
Word, that sounds fire. You want to know something funny? I'm so extra that there was a time where I would just go buy regular Cheerios and buy honey, and I would just make my own honey nut, like my own honey Cheerios.
How's that?
That's how cheesy I was.
Was it good though?
Yeah, it was fire. Because at the end, the milk was so it was like honey milk.
Oh, nice.
Delicious. It was freaking delicious. I recommend it, y'all. You know what I mean? Kill some bowls of cereal after the show. Serial killers. See what I'm saying? That's a good one. That's a good one. And Shay asked earlier if I was going to be doing a Halloween special. I may or may not. I don't know. My schedule is so insane as of late. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. And here it is, though, guys. For those of you guys who I will at least do some sort of hangout, because I do have something special going on that weekend. And there's gonna be some very special people on in the flesh during that Halloween weekend. So we'll see. We'll see about that. I'm not gonna say anything else. We'll see about that. Okay. But also, please, guys, check out the new merch. We have breast cancer awareness special edition t-shirts and hoodies. The link is down below. Please go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Save the boobies in light of this month. You see what I'm saying? Go buy yourself a t-shirt. Go buy yourself a hoodie. Okay? Support the show and support saving the boobies. All right, guys. It's time to get going. But if anything pops off in the next few hours revolving around Brian Laundrie or anything of that sort, I will be talking about it, of course. I am going to be doing a story here very, very shortly, by the way, just so you guys keep an ear out and an eye out for this one. There's a story about a woman named Christina Nance. She was found dead in a police van, an unused police van in the police department's parking lot. A young black woman that had been missing was found dead in a police van, an unused police van on the police department's parking lot. Very, very interesting piece. You're going to be checking that out here very, very soon. The Pioneer, real quick. Any updates on the Lauren show? Now, they say that they have found a body out in the area that she ran off to. I have yet to know if they have identified the body as Lauren Show, but they found a body in the same area in which she ran off to. So hopefully we'll be able to wrap up that story. The remains have been retrieved, but they have not identified the body as far as I know right now. Okay, so there will be a pop-up video here very shortly revolving around the Christina Nance story. So please keep a lookout or keep an eye out for that, because it is very messed up. Like I said, a young black woman was found dead inside of a police van, and that police van was in the parking lot of the police department. A cop actually found her body in the van, and she had been missing for, I think, a week or two. What's up with that? Now the family's asking for surveillance footage from the police department, but the police department has not responded yet in giving them the surveillance footage. Interesting, right? So we're going to talk about it. I ain't going to say nothing more. You're going to be checking it out on the pop-up video here very, very shortly. Anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all. David, thank you so much for being on. It's time to get going, guys. Be safe out there. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys very soon. If I don't see you guys this weekend, have a safe one. Make it positive, make it beautiful, and do something positive this weekend. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.